As we reel from another round of shocking deep cuts, what is the fate, the very fate, of WWE? We're going to take a look at how we got to this point, where WWE goes from here. We look at some potential suitors, we kick the tires, we check the price tag, and we ask the eternal question: will Vince McMahon really sell WWE? So how do we get here? Well, we have to wind the clock back to January of 2020, when WWE announced the termination of George Barrios and Michelle Wilson as co-VPs. They've been with the company for over a decade. They were adamant the rollout of the WWE network would make major money for the company. It was at the start of the year that sources started revealing that George Barrios and Michelle Wilson's vision for WWE was differing from that of Vince McMahon. They wanted to run a tight ship and save money. Vince McMahon wanted to hoard wrestlers to stop them going to the competition, essentially pay big contracts for people to sit on the sofa. This led to a roster that, very much like you and I after eating 2 large pizzas, feeling bloated and unhappy. In August, the roles left by Barrios and Wilson were filled by one man, seasoned media executive from the creative artists agency, Nick Khan. Now, Nick had worked with WWE and helped them really up the money on their TV show. So, of course, Vince McMahon wanted to welcome Nick Khan into the family. In less than a year, Nick Khan had earned himself a place on the WWE board of directors. And according to PW Insider, he'd been given carte blanche by Vince McMahon to make the changes needed to evolve WWE into a mainstream entertainment property, not unlike Marvel. You will hear the Marvel analogy used a couple of times in this video and around the world today as well. In fact, it was Front Office Sport that said that a source close to them has said that WWE wants to literally become the next Marvel. The quote saying, "At first glance, WWE is a wrestling company, but it's really a media and content company with a treasure trove of IP that appeals to young demos." Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Wrestling very much has its own glass ceiling in terms of perception outside of the bubble, and Nick Khan was going to be the guy to smash it, or pop it. Khan has been busy. He has been clearing out WWE execs and replacing them with Hollywood movers and shakers, people that he worked with previously at the CAA. He's also the driving force behind bringing in sports analysts like Pat McAfee, like Megan Morant, like Adnan Virk, and like Jimmy Smith into those positions on WWE TV to legitimize and make further connections with the company to the outside world. Khan has also been pushing behind the scenes for the massive amount of cuts that we have seen post-WrestleMania. WWE HQ has seen major departmental breakups and shakeups. We've also seen an unheard of amount of releases on TV as well. I don't think I've ever known a time where there's been this many company wrestlers let go at one time. You know? And from all different levels of the roster as well, from main event guys all the way to developmental. And this is part of Nick Khan's operation. He's finally talked Vince around from that idea, from that grand plan of his, to hire every wrestler ever and put them in a tower. Is Vince all right with this, though? Like, this is his company. He's Vince McMahon, damn it! Well, they paid Nick Khan $12 million last year, more than any of the McMahons, so I guess they must quite like him. But what has all this been for? Why now? Why so quickly? Well, obviously whenever anybody new comes into a role, they want to make sure they make an impact on the landscape of where they work. That goes without saying, but a lot of people have reached the conclusion that this is all happening in such a frantic pace because WWE is getting its house in order to be sold, streamlining the business, sprucing up the behind the scenes with young, hot, firm Hollywood bodies. Nick Khan is essentially, seemingly, house flipping WWE. Now, a lot of companies could potentially come in and buy WWE if it was for sale. Just thinking off the top of my head, Amazon, Disney. They're two that spring to mind. Amazon have just bought MGM. they might be focused on that for a little while. Disney, I think they've got their own streaming platform now, so potentially they could put something there, but we'd have to fine-tooth comb the network a little bit more, wouldn't we, before we put it on the shelf next to Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. There is one obvious choice here, and it could be the case that a company that was once nobbled by a panda gets purchased by a peacock. NBCUniversal seem to be the frontrunners in buying WWE. A report from Slice Wrestling suggests that there's evidence to say that NBC are getting themselves ready to open the wallet to Vince McMahon's pride and joy. NBC now not only own the WWE network, but they own the USA network, the home of Raw and NXT. In fact, the only show that NBC don't own is Friday Night SmackDown, which is tied into a lucrative deal with Fox until 2024. Sources close to Slice Wrestling say that NBC are biding their time before stepping in and making a gentle offer to Fox to buy the rights away and bring it all in-house and stick it all on Peacock. So in the meantime, WWE seem to be tidying up, getting things ready, so it's a nice, slick operation when time comes to put it on the market. Incidentally, NBCUniversal has an estimated net worth of $35 billion, and it has been suggested that WWE could be sold for up to $4 billion. And we're going to make that comparison again. That's how much Disney paid for Marvel back in 2009. I think it's worth a little bit more now. But why would NBC want to buy it at all? Well, it's simple. It's all about the money. You see, WWE has so many assets that you could shovel market that it would be easy to turn WWE into a Marvel-esque mega machine of money-making musings. We're talking theme parks, major Hollywood movies, TV shows, merchandise, ice cream bars. Yeah, let's bring back the ice cream bars. Why not? Also, this is a company that has proved that it will make money despite itself. This past week, Monday Night Raw had its lowest ratings ever. Despite this, because of TV deals, sponsorship and promotions, it's still gonna make bank. This is a company now that even when its main wrestling show is on autopilot, it will print money. Why wouldn't you want to buy that if you could afford it? But where's Vince McMahon in all of this? This is his life's work. He's approaching his 80th birthday and he's still as hands-on as he's ever been, pretty much. Brandon Thurston, who does the wrestling number crunching content over at WrestleNomics, he even says that the one thing that's priceless to Vince McMahon is control. So it would take something special to allow Vince McMahon to remove his hands from the wheel. The idea of Vince McMahon being anywhere other than the gorilla position seems unlikely. The idea of somebody else controlling his company also seems unlikely. That was until Nick Khan came along, aka the McMahon Whisperer. You see, Vince McMahon has battled to be the top dog in professional wrestling, and despite always fancying himself as a bit of a media mogul, it's the only thing he's ever really been great at. And I think that eats at him still even to this day. So Nick Khan coming in, who has got this incredible media experience, is certainly appealing to Vince McMahon. We've seen Nick Khan talk Vince McMahon down from some of the dizziest of heights, and Vince has placed an unheard amount of trust in Nick Khan as well. Now, maybe Vince McMahon sees that he can live vicariously through Nick Khan one of his greatest fantasies. Not the pregnancy angle with Stephanie. No. I'm talking about being the head of this global mainstream phenomenon. One that sees WWE superstars as Hollywood icons. One that sees sports entertainment as a kind of modern day theater, several billion degrees removed from professional wrestling. WWE has never been proud of that second W, and they're focused firmly on the E. Nick Khan could really put the emphasis on the E for Vince McMahon. McMahon is also now realizing that he has to allow Nick Khan to make those connections for him if he wants to help steer his ship towards a horizon he could never reach. So will Vince McMahon really sell WWE? No, not a chance. Nick Khan will, though. Stay safe. Love you, bye.